Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Hot Mic with Lady She podcast. I'm your host, Miss Shanice LaBird. Oh, this episode, guys, already I just did a live, just sharing just a portion of what God is doing and the awesomeness that I'm about to experience, that you are about to experience. Um, Please share this live with someone that you care about. Share this live with someone who you know may be connected to the special needs community. Tag some people that just here that want to support Randy, who will want to support this platform where we've come to encourage, empower, and to educate. My guest on tonight, this subject is very special to me, being an autism mom. So I am excited to bring awareness. I'm excited to allow this young man to share his journey and just what God has done in his life. His name is Mr. Randy Walker Jr. I don't believe God does things by happenstance. I know He moves and does things intentionally. So while on social media, I came across a post where I saw his face, and I just happened to read the caption with him sharing a portion of his story. And I just want him to just bless you guys. And I'm just going to invite him in now. I'm sure you're going to fall in love with him just like I did. He's amazing. He's amazing. So let's just invite him in. Mr. Randy Walker Jr. I'm excited. Hi, Randy.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
It's
I
nice
was
to.
just, yeah, it's good to see you as well. I was just sharing my little spiel on how I came across
Mm-hmm.
your page, and just me being in awe of what God is doing. I was just sharing with them that I don't believe it's by happenstance. He keeps showing us divine connections. So I just know this particular episode is going to bless people that we can't even fathom what God is going to do. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
so much for coming
Oh, you're
on
so
the
welcome.
podcast. I'm excited.
Yeah,
All
I
I'm
am
thinking
too.
about, all I'm thinking about is, I'm like, man, everything we discussed beforehand was just amazing. That could have been the podcast all in
Yeah.
itself. It was just so good, and the prayer, of course. So, if you want to introduce yourself or say hello, people, you're welcome to do that before I start my questions. You can do so.
Okay. Let me get this game straight. Okay. Hey, everybody. What's good?
Randy, like, what's up? So yeah, this is Randy Walker Jr. Of Maryland, correct?
Yeah, Baltimore.
All right, Baltimore. Okay, y'all hear that accent? Listen, I went to school in Virginia, so I know that accent. They used to correct me all the time saying it's not Baltimore, it's Baltimore. I'm like, oh, okay. So I get that part. That's cool. So, tell us. Let me start off with this. Being an autism mom, this is
Mm-hmm.
personal for me. Share. You can share the good, whatever you desire, but talk to us a little bit. About your childhood. And when you were diagnosed with autism.
Well, my childhood was normal. uh, I had a normal childhood. Grew up with family. My family, I come from a loving family, a very supportive, loving family. And
Listen.
they treated me like everybody else in the family.
Okay.
I was told that I couldn't really. My mom told I heard different stories about it, but my mom and my cousin, explained to me about how I couldn't communicate like that when I was younger. And, my mom said I could laugh and stuff like that. And then she said that she said I would point out things that I wanted, and she said she would get me to say it. And I had to get like surgeries, things like that. And I remember as a kid, like I was always being afraid to go to doctors and things like that because
Mhm.
I was always going in and out of hospitals.
Do you know why?
Well, I had to get surgeries on I think my mouth, my ears, and my legs because I had casts on my legs
As a baby?
as a young kid. But
As
my
a
mom,
toddler?
yeah, but my mom told me that she said that she felt that something was wrong when uh, they laid me in her arms. She knew
Oh
something was
wow.
wrong. But
Okay.
here's the most powerful part about this is that when my mom was in high school, she went to the Special Olympics to help out the students. And I said to her, that was God getting her prepared right then and there, because God knew
Yeah.
that she was going to have a child who was going to have a disability. So
Say that,
he was
Randy.
going to put her to the test.
Mm.
He knew that she can handle it. That is why he sent her there.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So when he said the Special Olympics, this is the
No, yeah, when she
Olympics,
said,
huh?
when you said he means she.
No, I mean you. You
Oh,
you
yeah,
I
yeah,
was just
yeah, yeah.
explaining what you said. He's sharing that his mom um works with the special needs children and probably adults in the Olympics
She
before.
didn't. No, she didn't work in the Olympics.
Okay.
She went as a student helper, a
Oh,
volunteer
as
helper
a
at high
helper.
school. Yeah,
Okay. So she was a volunteer in high school. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So she was a volunteer in high school, and they sent her to where the special needs children or maybe adults, did Olympics and stuff. So
It,
that's what he's basically showing, like, how God, he sets us up.
God was getting her prepared right then and
Yeah.
there. He was getting her. She knew what to do automatically when she knew something was wrong. She knew what to do. She knew how to take care of a child who was special needs. And she also had like my brother and my sister as well. And then, after me, my younger sister came. So she was really, she really had a lot to do as a mother. And as
Hmm.
a single, mother at one time, I was always going in and out of the doctors and, going to therapy and things like that. So I had to be taught how to walk, talk, and hear, because they flat
Right.
out told her, you might as well put him in institutional home. Like,
Wow.
they basically said, you might as well just throw him in the trash because he's not going to do nothing.
Come on, Randy.
And the
Wow.
funny part is that when I think about all of that, like the thing is that like, I could be working with these doctors and they don't even know that they're working with someone who they doubted.
Come on in here, Randy. Say that. So let me ask you this. When you were a toddler,
Uh-huh.
what exactly did mom say, or what exactly did the family say, or what exactly did the doctor say, you know, was your
Mm.
what's going on with you? Because when we think about autism, some who may not
Mhm.
know, everybody that's on here does not know about autism.
Right.
So there's something that they call a spectrum, right?
Oh yeah.
So do you remember what they said,
Well, see,
how
that's
they said you were on the spectrum?
well, see, I was my mom told me I was diagnosed at 2, so I couldn't remember at that time.
Right.
But I found out when I got a little older. And my thing was is that like my mom always treated me like all her other kids.
Right.
And and I was so afraid to, and a lot of times, as soon as I got older, I was ashamed to tell people that that I was autistic, because I was in the special ed classes and we would get taunted by other people. We would get made fun of by other people, and things I see on TV and things I see on uh, Google and YouTube about, people with disabilities being made fun of and being mistreated and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So it was like I mentioned to you earlier, like the movie, the 1934 version of the movie,
Yeah,
The
share that.
Imitation
Share
of
that with
Life.
them. Share that.
Yeah. There was a movie back in 1934 called The Imitation of Life, not the 1959 version, like the one everybody may know. But there was an actress in the movie by the name of Freddie Washington. In real life, she wasn't ashamed of her skin color. Freddie was proud of her skin color. I read
Right.
about her and saw videos about her.
Hmm.
But she played a character of a woman who was a black woman, but she was fair skinned, and her mother was like how they did in movies back then, the black maid.
Hmm.
But this movie was about how this woman was so ashamed of her skin color. So that is how I was with autism. I was so ashamed of autism. It was like people, they would see me at first, and if I didn't tell them, they wouldn't know. So
Right.
it was like, and my real father wasn't in my life like that. So,
Hmm.
and I was so ashamed of that past and him not being there that I decided to drop the name Junior, and I decided to go live like another life. Like
Wow.
I'm not Junior, but
Right.
In real truth, I am. So just like how that woman in the movie was ashamed of being black, I was ashamed of being autistic. And there
Come
was
on,
this thing
Randy.
that's called masking autism. So I was a young man that was I started this was around the time I started my job and things like that. And I wasn't around too many other people with disabilities like that.
Mhm.
So I was ashamed a lot of times. And I was always trying to get in contact with so many of my other friends from this awesome program called Project Search that's right down where I'm at here in the city. But
Okay.
I had an awesome teacher there by the name of Miss Gillis. Miss Gillis, she was a beautiful teacher. She this lady, she was powerful.
Yeah.
She did not play with us,
All right. We like those
but
teachers.
yeah, but it's because of her teaching and their teaching as well. They had job coaches and everything.
Mhm.
It helped me become the man that I am today.
All
So
right.
it was like but at the same time, when I got out into the real world, it was like I can mask. Like I don't have to tell people I'm autistic. But it was like I was so afraid to tell people I was autistic that I decided to not talk about it as much. I was very sensitive about it. So just
Mhm.
like Freddie's character was, Piola, that was her name, I was like that too. And the arguments that started between my mother was that when I went to important places, my mother was like, "You have to tell people you're autistic."
What was like an important place? What do
Like
you
if
mean
I
important
wanted
place?
to go to, let's say, because back then high schools they wasn't giving people with disabilities their high school diplomas. So
Wow. So what were
yeah,
they giving them? What?
certificates because they had to go back until they was in the 12th until they had to go back until 21. Me, I
Wow.
didn't go back. I went to this awesome program called Project Search and they found me.
Hmm.
And I went there and I was there for 2 years. And I
Hmm.
got hired in my third year. No, in my second year.
Okay.
But I was trying so hard to go get my GED. But and this teacher he embarrassed me in front of the whole students.
What'd she say?
No,
Or
it was a
he
man.
say? What he
He
say?
was trying to get me to get the words out and things like that, trying to get the answers and stuff like that. And that's what really made me ashamed to tell people I was autistic. That right there, all by and then the work itself was
Hmm.
like, oh, I can't handle it. So
Right.
it was like I gotta hide. It was like, and then I was afraid. I wanted like better opportunities for myself. So I was afraid to tell people that I was autistic. I was afraid to tell people that because I was afraid that one to get mistreated,
Hmm.
rejected, and I was just so oh my gosh, I was so scared at times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when Donald Trump was elected president, you know these four black kids they kidnapped this young white guy who had disability, and they was attacking him and
I remember that.
when I saw that, it was like, uh-uh.
Hmm.
And I saw this one post that was talking about it made me so sick to my stomach. It was talking about NGA or something like that. And I have to say this word out because I'm being honest. It said niggas with autism. And I saw that it really, yeah, when I
Wow.
saw that, it really made me go like, I
Oh,
don't
so
know.
it was NWA.
Yeah, but they changed it to
Wow.
something positive. They know, God forgive me. They changed it to something negative. They
Negative.
use
Right.
guys with autism and disabilities to have people to make them laugh and stuff like that at the same time, but they was laughing at them. So,
Right.
and then I would see
So
people
it was
with
like
this,
bullying, like
yeah,
cyberbullying.
yeah. And then it was like, I couldn't tell. It was like, and then it was like when I went in person, when I saw some things in person about people with disabilities trying to talk to strangers on the streets, and these strangers they making fun of them. I was like, mm-mm,
So let me ask you this.
mm-hmm.
As you so now you're a toddler. Your mom explains to you that you are autistic. But
Well, she didn't really tell me at a young age. She waited till I got a little older because as a child I couldn't understand like that.
right.
So I had to wait. She had to wait until I was older enough to understand. The
Okay.
kind of mother I have is the mother that does not want to confuse her children, but she want to wait until the right time so that they'll be ready and mind ready to do it.
So let me ask you this. I know you said, you were raised in a home just like everyone else. When it came to your siblings, do you remember things like, your sibling. Wait, how many siblings do you have?
Well, I have a sister through marriage, but she's my real big sister. I'm gonna keep it
Hmm.
like that.
Like, I
And
mean, in the home, in the
yeah,
home.
oh yeah, like three sisters and one brother.
Okay, so three sisters and your brother. So growing up, when you were younger, do you remember like your siblings having to defend you? Like if you were
Oh yes,
speaking, if you were,
yeah.
yeah.
My
What was
sister,
that like?
my sister Monique. My mom told me that my sister, at a young age, a baby, helped her brother, who was a year older than her, helped her brother understand things and how to communicate and how to do things. And they said that she guided him. Like they were saying,
Mhm.
like she guided you. And a
Right.
lot of times she was like, uh,
The protector.
oh yeah, she was very protective of me. My sister Monique, I'm not saying all my siblings weren't, but because she was under me, all
Hmm.
I mean, she was so protective of me. Even when me and my mom had oh Jesus.
It's okay, Randy. God is amazing.
When me and my mother had situations, it
Hmm.
was like, mm, it was,
It's okay. You helping somebody. Come on,
it was
Randy.
like,
That sibling love is
it was,
different.
it was.
It's okay. It's okay. We understand. Listen, God puts you in the right home with the loving parents, with the loving siblings who are gonna push you to your greatness.
And see,
So
the
that's
thing
how you
was,
became
is
who you
that
are.
like it was like she understood me for so long, even when the times when it felt like my mother didn't understand me. It
Mhm.
was like it was, it was like she would explain things to my mother to help me understand.
It's all
And
good. God is the
when
greatest.
she was about to move to California, I felt so alone. Like I felt like, why did she leave me here? Why did she? Why did she do?
It's okay, Randy.
Why did she leave me here? Like, no one understood. She
It's
was the
okay,
only
Randy.
one that I felt that understood
Listen, God brings us who we need when we don't even know. And the seed that she planted in you gave you strength for you to encourage other people, who you feel are so called like you. So that's what this for. This is you are on this
every time,
platform just for that.
every time she came to town, I would hide myself, and I would be afraid to. I mean, I would hide myself and things like that because when she came to town, it was like I didn't. I was afraid to see her leave again. So it was like after my grandparents had died, after my father died, like it was just like I just felt so alone.
Yeah.
And I would just try so hard to get people to like me. I would get so hard to have people to uh, talk with me.
Hmm.
And I faced nothing but verbal abuse. I was sexually harassed by another man through a text message before that when he said, like, I just wanted, when he asked me for a picture of me, and I said, why? Because I thought he meant of my group because I was in singing group at the time. And he
Okay.
said that,
Wait, did you tell
no,
you in a singing group?
yeah, I was.
You sing?
I used to.
Ready to know
But
no more. Wow.
and he worked with my mother when she was at a daycare, uh and my thing is that to my message to anybody is that because you got to be careful who you look up to. And he was
Say
a
that.
year older than me, but
Mhm.
at first it was like I thought we were going to be friends, but no, he was trying to get next to me. And he
Right.
asked it if I wanted him to come over, and I said no because the person I thought you meant like hang out as friends,
Friends, right.
but he wanted to do something. But by the grace of God, I said no.
Yeah. So let
But
me ask you this. I'm sorry. Let me ask you this. Do you feel that um because of his position in your life and because he saw that you had special needs that you were easy to prey on, that he can
no,
talk to
it's
you in a
just
certain way
that
to get you to be friendly?
I don't know. It's just that I guess maybe it's because I just wanted to. I guess I just wanted to just have friends because I was so desperate to have friends, and I faced nothing but verbal abuse and mistreatment. I kept giving the girl money and food and stuff like that, and I was growing hungry and things like that. And it was like I
So
didn't
this
know.
is go ahead.
It was like I had such an empty space in my heart.
Come on, Randy.
I had such an like year before that. I had a guy who I called a big brother for years, who's really a big brother to my older brother and sister. and he felt this, and I'm not gonna tell him in person, but he felt a certain way about me that I didn't know. And I
Right,
always
right.
thought that he was, and I looked up to him so much. And I always thought that he was so happy, because he called me little brother and things like that. But my mom and my sister, God kept using them to give me warnings about him, but
Come
I
on,
wasn't
Randy.
listening. And when
Yeah,
he talked about me to my mother had let me know. It was like
yeah,
the great fall. The great fall has happened.
right. So let me ask you this. Do you feel that going back to when you were younger, trying to hide being autistic,
Hmm.
trying to fit in, trying to blend in, do you think that made you kind of vulnerable?
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
right,
because it was like no one wanted me around like that. And
right.
it was like I just didn't know how to love myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to love myself. And as an adult, I grew up staying in my room a lot. And, I closed this door on letting people get to know me because last year I had people at work spreaded this nasty rumor
Okay,
about me getting a girl fired, and that is so not true. But I
okay,
want to speak about the good parts of my job.
okay.
But
So do you want to tap into that now?
but I want to kind of want to get into something funny a little bit.
Okay,
Um,
go ahead.
at this time, it was like I wanted to. It's this song I used to want to sing, and when I gave my life over to Christ, it was like
How old
I
were you?
I was about 24. That was around the time that my father passed, and I kept picturing myself being left behind. I said, "Oh no, I'm ready to get out of this."
Wow,
And I remember this funny thing.
wow.
It was like one time, it was like I was listening to the song by Phyllis Hyman. You ever heard of her?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
listened to this song called "You Know How to Love Me" by Phyllis Hyman, and
All
I
right.
and I knew that at the time I wasn't allowed to sing secular music anymore,
Mhm.
but I wanted to sing that song so bad because I wanted to sing that song so bad, and I wanted to sing, but change it in the gospel way. I wanted to say Jesus knows how to love me, and I remember singing it to
Well,
my, and let me tell you something. My, I just gotta say this, I know you gonna be like, here he go, but Phyllis Hyman. But let me tell you something funny. Phyllis Hyman was my mother's girl. My mother loved her some Phyllis Hyman. Whenever me and my
got
sister
good
used,
taste.
yeah, but she don't listen to Phyllis Hyman no more. She Once she gave herself over to Christ, she stopped listening to R&B music.
So how old were
So,
you when your mother got saved?
I was a kid. I was a
Oh,
kid.
okay. So you
But
always grew up in the church.
yeah, oh
Okay.
yes. And
Wow.
we would she would, whenever we get out the store, whether we about to go in the store or whether we get ready to get out the car, I feel this Hyman song would come on, and she would,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, she would turn that song on and
So
turn
your
it up a
mom can
little bit.
sing too?
She can. And she was
Wow.
jammed to Phyllis Hyman. But as I got older, I felt in my spirit, do not play none of Phyllis Hyman's music around her because it'll
Okay.
feel like I'm bringing back her past.
Oh, good for you, Randy.
So it was like,
That was great awareness.
yeah, because it was like, and I didn't want to bring back nothing hurtful for her. But when I told her that I was singing a song, Jesus Knows How to Love Me, and the Phyllis Hyman song, my mother looked at me and was like, I know where you got that from. She's like, you cannot change an R&B song into a gospel song.
Tell her, mom, it's all good. It's all good. So let me ask you this. Okay. So you said basically growing up, you were ashamed of being autistic.
Yes.
Now how was I understood you when you said, being in high school, being in special ed and the kids taunting you, and how did you navigate through that?
Well, it's
How?
like I have a strong background system, my family.
Hmm.
I had no choice but to go face it. I had no choice but to go to school and deal with it.
Hmm.
I had no choice but to deal with it. So for me to deal with it, it's like, oh my gosh, it
Were
was
there
just
days
like,
where you wanted to just not go to school? Like, did you
yeah,
watch
there were
other
days
kids?
like I just wanted to take that blanket. There were days I just wanted to take that blanket and cover myself with it.
Mhm.
There would and it was like it got to a point where it was like I was so ashamed of myself and ashamed to tell people I'm autistic that I wanted to commit suicide.
Wow.
When my family was out one day. I remember I was just home alone. And I remember one day I was standing in front of the sink and I looked at this big old kitchen knife. And as soon as I looked at it and I wanted to walk towards it, it felt like something jumped in the way. Like, don't do it. Don't do
Come
it.
on,
Don't do it.
Randy. Come on,
I stopped.
Randy.
Like I didn't go. I stopped like I didn't want to. It was almost like I didn't want to do it, but God was protecting me. And
Yeah.
one of the things that really helped me out the most was being an uncle.
Oh.
My oldest nephew seen me go. My oldest nephew Robbie, that's his name. He seen me go through a lot, and that little kid had me running, chasing after him so much. But he didn't know that as my nephew that he was helping his uncle
He was
out
to stay alive.
overcome autism.
Oh
And that
man.
little boy got on my last nerves to the T. But that's okay because he let me know I got on his too.
Wow. Listen, God will step in when he say not today. Satan, not
Yes.
today. So we are thankful that you didn't look at that kitchen knife and do the wrong thing because you wouldn't be here to share your story,
And
with other
see,
people.
I have to share this because I recently read a comment. I recently read a article about what's her name's son, Regina King's son. Her son
Yes.
committed suicide. I had
Yes.
a friend
Yes.
who took me in as a little brother to him. His name is Colin. He committed suicide. And when
Wow.
yes, he jumped off the seventh floor of the hospital. No, he jumped off the seventh floor at the parking garage across the street, up the street from the hospital. And I when after that it was like, no, we gotta put an end to this. We
Yeah,
gotta
we
put an
gotta
end to
pray.
suicide.
Yeah, say
So
that,
that
Randy.
is why
Tell
it's like I'm here
somebody.
telling my story now. And I want to throw in a shout out to my best friend William. He
Hi,
has autism.
William.
He has autism too, but I took William in as my little brother because I see a lot of me in William, how
Mm-hmm.
I was in the beginning. And we grew a bond so closely. He has a twin. His name is Wesley.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch over both of them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like we watch over each other. They watch over me. I watch over them. We have each other's back. That's how we do.
Right.
But
Right.
me and Will, we connected so strongly. We built up a brotherhood. We went from friends to best friends in the brotherhood, and I call their mom auntie now. So
Right. I love it.
yeah,
I love it.
and me and
So,
Will are writing a book together, like writing a book to
oh,
help other people with autism to overcome it.
awesome,
It's a
Randy.
Christian-based book.
It's faith based. Awesome. Awesome. Listen, if you need help with that book, I'm an author too. I told you. My first book is about my autistic son. Like,
Okay,
listen,
well
let's do
maybe you
this
can give me
thing.
some pointers.
Yeah,
Some
absolutely.
pointers.
That's what this, listen, iron sharpens iron. Absolutely. I'm so proud of you for that.
And see, the
Listen,
thing is that like it was so hard. Even though I was a part of a group, it was so hard for me to find a friend who has autism like me.
hmm
So for me to meet someone that's autistic like me,
hmm
it's it's awesome, but it
yeah.
scared me a little bit because for one, when we get frustrated, we fuss each other out at times. So,
Listen, that's human nature. That ain't got nothing to do with autism.
but at the same time, we don't let that. Oh, I know. But
hmm
at the same time, we don't let that split us up.
Love it. Love it.
And I just always felt that one day I felt like I was going to give up on him. And I felt in my spirit, God was saying, if you were to give up on him, you would have failed.
Mm.
And I felt that so heavy.
hmm
God was pointing us to help each other.
That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. That's amazing, Randy. So now let's fast forward a little bit.
Mhm.
You've gotten through high school. Did you ever get? Were you able to get your GED?
No, but I got something better, and that is a
Okay, what's that?
scholarship, and that is a scholarship through Jesus Christ.
I know that's right. He said he trumps all the scholarships. I love it. But let me ask you this. You said that you guys at that time coming out of high school,
No,
they wouldn't allow you.
I didn't go at the same time with him.
Yeah,
The
no, no,
pro.
no. I'm going back to what you said about
Oh
earlier.
yeah,
Not
yeah, yeah,
not your
yeah,
friend.
yeah. The
So
little brother.
yeah, not your little brother.
Mhm.
So you said that you guys will receive a certificate, but you wanted more.
Yeah,
This with
because if and
Go ahead.
I gotta,
Now
I gotta.
project.
No, it's called Connections. The high school is called Connections.
Okay.
And I remember I had this old friend. Me and her had our moments, but
hmm
her name was Kiana. And me and her, we had a 12th grade reading level in the school in
Right.
our class. So
Mm-hmm.
that means that we were on a reading level that none of the other students were on. Not to say that they couldn't read,
No,
but
I understand.
we were much more on a much more advanced kind of thing.
Advance, right.
So me and her, we were
So they call it high function, right?
yeah, we were
High
high
function.
function.
Mm-hmm.
And me and her, we was just so like, you know, we got together at times. And, at times she used me and abused me and stuff like that. And I had my moments with me and her.
What's
We
that
had
mean? What's that
yeah,
mean, abused?
verbal abuse. Like she and I'm not trying to
So
throw
she was
nobody out
supposed to
there.
be she's supposed to be your friend or your girlfriend? What?
No, just a friend.
Okay. And you guys were in the same school.
Right. But no, I'm not trying to tell nobody's personal business.
That's okay. You don't have to share detailed
But my
details.
thing was is that I have to say this is that like we experienced a lot together as friends and we built each other up as friends.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it was like people they grow apart and
Absolutely.
people have their moments
Mm-hmm.
and it was like and
Take your time.
it was like I had my moments where and I'm not making this about other people, this is about me.
Okay.
But I had my moments where it was like I looked down on myself, I put myself down a lot and it's like I just it was like it always felt like where do I go from here and where do I start off?
Mm. Mm. I get that. I absolutely get that. So now let me ask you this. Talk to the people and explain exactly what your job is because that's what gravitated me to
Well,
your story to reach out to you.
I work at a department called Central Sterile Processing. And Central Sterile Processing, we help get tools prepared for surgery, and we
Excuse me, sir.
help we help save people's lives by delivering sets and things like that. And I would like to give a shout out to some of the coworkers who really took me in and really helped me get where I'm at today. I want to give them a shout out.
Okay.
I would love to get a shout out to my, or I'm gonna wait till lastly, but my boy Arthur and my old bro Joseph, who used to work there, my bro Isaac, Davon, my girls Patrice, Tanya, Danica, my work mother Kendra. There's so many people
Work
there that
mother.
I can name that helped me, but
Hmm.
it's one particular person who saw that I had. It's one particular person who saw that I had potential.
Okay.
Her name is Deb Veronic.
Okay.
She saw that I had more potential than I saw in myself. And out of
Mm.
everybody there, she was the main one that liked me so
Pushed you.
much that she wanted to hire me. Yes.
Okay.
She pushed me to a T. She pushed me, in so many ways. And it was just, I say it's just like Motown.
Explain.
Well, when I explain is that
Explain that.
Girl, because it was like at the time we was close. All of us was close. And I can't
Hmm.
say everybody, but how I saw like how everybody was close and I want to give another shout out to my girl Troy Lynn. Troy Lynn helped me to she and my boy Eddie. They were the main ones. And my girl Danica, when I started to feel bad about me being autistic on the job, they was like, stop thinking that.
Come
Stop
on,
seeing
proof.
yourself like that. You are above and beyond that.
That's
And
awesome.
it was just I had one guy there who was a manager there at one time, and he was trying to so hard trying to force people and demand people's respect.
Hmm.
But he saw something, I guess, in me that he was trying to come after. And my
You think it was
mom,
the attention? Some people get jealous of love that other people receive. You think it
I
was
don't know
that?
what it I don't know what it was. He was a director from a different company. But
Okay.
you know what? God kept giving me the strength to go in every day and
That's it,
do what I
Randy.
had to do and to continue on going further. And it was like when
All right,
he
so let
said
me go ahead.
when he one day was explaining that he was leaving, it was like I was just overcame with raw emotion and
Hmm.
tears. Like my girl, me and my homegirl, we went out in the hallway. She was like, Randy, you did it, you did it. And
Hmm.
to this day, it still felt like I defeated this guy.
Come on,
It feels
Randy.
like to this day I'm still standing over top of him.
Say
Like I
that.
defeated you.
That's the one. That's the one. So let me say this. Let me ask you this. First of all, okay, I want to go back. The program that you were in, I was sticking in my mind. Me remembering you saying is I wanted more, and I love that. I absolutely love that. That reminds me of how my husband and I are with our son. You know, he's not hireable, as they say, so-called hireable. So we had to go another route to have him start his own business and doing something that he likes and that he enjoys because he wants more. So I really want to just thank you for saying those words
Mm-hmm.
because that's bold and that shows the man of God inside of you. But I want to tap back into the program that you were in. You said, I feel like you said it was called Project, was it called Project something?
Project Search.
Yeah, Project Search. So from high school, when they want to just give you the certificate and not give you the diploma, you started going to Project Search. Now,
Yeah, because it was like,
Project Search, is that a place where they give you job development? Like, what
yeah,
is that? Explain to the
it's
people.
it's it's an educational place,
Okay.
but it's also a place where they give you job experiences, and you become an intern on the jobs. Like I started out in the office side and things
Okay.
like that, and I just started off in different places, and
Hmm.
uh, I was just so much more developed on
Right.
wanting to grow more.
Got you.
And my thing was is that I had a teacher who became a second mother to me, Miss Gillis. And
Hmm.
this Miss Gillis, she installed so much in her students that that y'all could do better. Y'all can, we were
Hmm.
taught how to be just like on the job. I was taught how to be presentable. I was taught how to be a leader. I was taught how to go forward. And I couldn't joke around. We couldn't joke around. We couldn't do none of that in our class like that.
Okay. Oh, I love it. I love it because that teaches you to be respectful. It teaches you how to be in the workplace. So we gotta be thankful for those teachers that saw something in you to push you along to say this program is cool, but I know you're gonna do greater as you get older. So
And
we're
see,
thankful for
and
those programs.
excuse me, if you don't mind me saying, my mother is watching. Please feel free to, express yourself. How does that make you feel? Tell her she's watching.
Yeah. Who,
Mama,
me?
Mama, this is for you.
Wait, listen. I'm gonna do that before we close out. Like right now, I really want you to just share, some of
Okay.
the things that you've actually gone through because I wanted to, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I wanted to just express this because of something that you said that was significant. And we see it. Unfortunately, social media shows everything.
Yeah.
So I wanted to tap back into, not tap back into, I'm going to tap into, learning how to protect your gates, as in the things that
Oh,
you watch, the things
yes.
you listen to, things like that.
Yes.
Because you saw something on social media with the whole, with the child being jumped, the black kid being jumped by the white kids
Oh,
or whatever.
they saying they can't hear you asking the questions.
They can't hear me?
No.
I don't know.
But you know what?
I'm seeing people make comments
But you know
on the
what?
live. Can they hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Okay. So no. So my question to you is, oh my god, I just lost my train of thinking. I just lost my thought. My question to you is, seeing the things that are happening to people with special needs
Mm-hmm.
and going through some of the things you went through, the bullying and people rejection and these things are like
That's
that. What would you say to someone, who is autistic, who's getting older, who wants to find their own way? What would you
I
say
want
to
to
them?
explain this to other people with disabilities in general.
Okay.
Please, under any circumstances, please do some background checking on these people that you are calling your so-called friends, because these people are not your friends. If they're mistreating you, if they're bringing you down, if they're talking bad about you and they're using you and they making you feel like that you're nothing, please, under any circumstances, if God is opening that door for you to run out of, don't cut your losses, don't grab nothing, get up and get out and go. And not just people with disabilities, but people, period. Just,
Just in general.
yeah, because it's like I watched, I watched like people I love go through stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard stories about some of the women that I'm close with, including my mom, who went through mistreatment and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is that, like, I had my father who raised me as I was his own. He
Mm-hmm.
took in, this man is so strong. He took in 4 kids that weren't
Come
biologically
on.
his, but made us his. How
That's it.
many men do you know do that?
Come
He
on,
don't call
Randy.
us. He don't call us stepchildren. He call us his children,
That's
and
God.
that's
I
a
love
dad
it.
that I'm so blessed to have.
Amen.
And my thing is that he's my mother's knight in shining armor.
Oh, I
He
love
came
it.
at a time where it was just so everything was just so down with us. God used him to bring us up. God used
Mhm.
him to tell us that y'all are loved. And guess what? His family, all of us, we all took each other in.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So now let me touch on that. You have mom, you said your biological dad wasn't really in your life as much. Now mom is in a church, she's a praying mother, she's a praying woman. Now God brings her king, and he's now head of the household. What was that transition like, with the four of you?
Well, we had our times, and with his daughter, who she took in as our siblings and as her siblings, and we took in her as well. It was like a black version of the Brady Bunch,
Right,
but
right. The
we had
blended
to,
family.
yeah, we had to we got ourselves so put together that we all pushed each other. We
Mm-hmm.
all pushed each other's buttons sometimes,
Uh-huh.
but we pushed each other. We just oh my gosh, the love that we have for each other is so amazing, so powerful.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You are helping somebody with that one. All right. So now, you have this cohesive family, you have the support system that you need. What was a point where, because I'm sure you went through different jobs and internships and things like that. What brought you to the point of being a central sterile technician? Let me say this first. Let me say this first. So for those who do not know what a CST is,
CSP.
CSP as in Peter?
Yeah. No, CSP as in Central Sterile Processing.
Oh, processing. Okay.
Yeah.
So Central Sterile Processing. Randy is the young man who comes in before you get surgery to make sure you don't get infection or anything like that, because he's making sure the items and the tools that are being used before the doctor or the surgeon or whoever will be working on you is what it's supposed to be. Is sterilized.
And
So
see,
his position is very, very vital in the
yes.
medical field. I want you to understand how important this is. And I also want you to understand, I want you to share with us how you got to that point to get to this particular
Oh
job.
wow. 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 That takes back a funny memory. Um
We like funny. Go ahead.
my director, manager at the time, we didn't have any directors at the time. We had just plain manager and team leaders. My
Now,
manager
where is this? Where is
at the
this?
University of Maryland Medical Center.
Okay, so you're at the university. What is your title at the job at this point?
It's still the same. I'm
No,
still
I want to know what you were doing before you got to this
well. I was
particular
a
job.
I was an intern. I was an intern.
Okay, so you knew you wanted to be in the medical field.
Yes. No, it's not
Oh,
that I didn't want it. I wanted to go. Actually, I wanted to go back to the office side,
oh, you
but
did.
God had other plan. No, no. Man, when I was a kid, that's something different. Because when I used to watch shows about ER and stuff like that, I used to just think it was doctors in the. Remember that old show ER? I
Absolutely.
used to think that it would just be nurses and doctors in the hospital. I didn't think it was, everything that I see now. But
Right.
Project Search, they got me over there. I wanted to go over to the hospital. I just
Wow.
wanted to be an intern.
Okay.
And they loved me so much that my manager, Deb Veronic, and the man who was the manager in the hospital at the time, Mr. Bill Sweet, and my girl, Margie Stickles,
Excuse me.
my girl, Margie Stickles, it was like, and Kendra, my work mom, Kendra Schuler, they liked me so much that uh, they wanted me to come back.
I love it.
And by
So
the grace of God,
they wanted to keep you on.
yeah, yeah, they
Love
wanted to
it.
keep me on. They wanted to keep me
Okay.
on. And I started out on evenings and things like that. And I had my times where it was like people would treat me different because I had a disability. But then it's like when I got on days, it was like I was a lot more happier. And
Love it.
ABC2 News, they were so motivated by Project Search that they sent their camera crew up there to interview me. I was on
Wow.
ABC2 News, and I call ABC my home channel.
Wow, that's amazing. So now the news ended up picking up your story through the project search engine. They were able to
Mhm.
find out that you as an autistic adult was now a sterile a central sterile processor.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
So what did that feel like? Like you're like, okay, I'm going to work, and the next thing you know there's cameras in your face. Was that how it went? How did it go?
No, it was actually they told me about it,
Okay.
and they
That's amazing.
they 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 came up there, and they were so amazed by that they wanted to interview me.
Awesome. So they had to actually get your approval to do that, correct?
Yeah, they had to get approval on every. Well, not my approval. They just wanted to interview Project Search, but I guess the teachers there told them about me or something, so they got me involved in doing
Mhm.
that. So I was yeah, I was ready to do that.
So you were excited about it? How did it make you feel after? You felt like you were getting more attention at work? Like how did that feel after the fact?
That felt good,
You like it felt good.
but it just felt the same.
Okay, okay. Now let me ask you this. Being in the medical field, and I'm just gonna say this, I know that in every job there's always sometimes it's very clicky. You know, people only deal with who they deal with. They only friends with who they're friends with. Did you go through circumstances where you felt like people just didn't want you there because you were autistic, or they felt like you're only there because you're autistic? Like, did you ever go through stuff like that?
Sometimes it's a little bit of both, but I'm not gonna get
Okay.
into that because that's something very personal. I'm not gonna get into that, and
Okay.
I don't believe in getting into personal business on just
Okay.
anywhere.
That's fine. Okay. All right. Cool. So now, moving on. Now you've been on the job how many years now?
Next month will be 8.
8 years. You about to be a whole vet. You about to be in there a whole decade. That's awesome. That is super cool. So now, what do you see for yourself now? You know, like from the job. You know what? I know you said you want to write a book with your friend. You know what else do you see for Randy Walker Jr.?
I just see myself as being a man of God. I just see myself going the direction that God wanted me to. And, there were times I wanted to do more. And there were times, a lot of times I related to movies a lot. And
Okay.
it was this one particular movie with one of my old favorite singers, Diana Ross.
All
She did this
right.
movie called Mahogany. And there were times I felt like, do I know where I'm going to and things like that. And
Mhm.
it was just like I watched myself transform from being this young boy into a grown man.
Right.
And how
Love this.
and I just was just figuring like how did I go from this young boy into this grown man?
Yeah. And how did you get through all that you've been through? I want you to share with people how you feel about having and the importance of having a relationship with God.
Well, having a relationship with God is very powerful.
Mhm.
Having a relationship with God is something that I say everybody should have because when you have a relationship with God the Father, when you have a relationship with Him, there's no way that you can go wrong. There's no way that you can exemplify yourself from other things and other people. But
Mhm.
my thing is that when you follow Christ, you have to learn to let go of certain things and certain people. And I had to
Come
let go of
on,
certain things and
Randy.
certain people. And my thing was is that I saw myself at a state where it was like a lot of people who was help leading me to Christ, you know, when their job was done, their season was up helping me, it was like, you know, where are these people that I've been going to in the hospital and things like that?
Yeah,
I had to start all over again. I had to start at a place where it was like, okay, God, I need you here with me. I need you to
yeah,
see, I need you to show me where it is that I have to go. And I remember those hard cold mornings and those sleepless nights.
yeah.
And it was like I remember there were times that the subway would break down. The you know I had to catch two buses to work and things like that, and I had to walk all the way in the pitch dark to work and then home at times. So it was
Wow.
like I was dealing with depression and anxiety, and I was dealing with so much things we we as Christians go through. And
Mhm.
a lot of times it was just like I felt like I didn't know where I was or where to go from here and how to get where I'm going.
Yeah. So do you, let me ask you this. I know like for me as a mom, one of the important things that I do with my sons, not just my autistic son, but both
And
of them,
see, and I'm sorry, I
go
don't
ahead.
mean to, I'm not trying, and I wasn't trying to, tell nobody's personal business or nothing like that. But this is like, I'm not trying to tell no one's personal business or nothing like that.
Okay.
And I would never do that to anybody. But I'm saying about my experiences and what I experienced as a child.
No, that's what you're here for. You're here to help
Yes.
someone. Absolutely. No, but what I was going to share was, I give them not just prayer and not just the scriptures, but also affirmations. Do you do
Yes.
that for yourself, to speak life into yourself, to give you strength daily? Is that something that you do? What do you do?
I pray, but a lot of times I see myself, getting stronger, but also at times the enemy has ways of jumping in our minds and
Hmm.
showing us that, you see, like basically trying
Reminding
to
you.
show us that you can't do it, you can't do it, and things like that. So it was like a lot of times my mother had to, pray with me and get me back
Back
up
on
on my
track.
feet.
Hmm. Yeah, mom had to get you back on track, remind you who you are because you're a child of the king.
And see,
That's
a
right,
lot of
mom.
times I was going through so much, but God sent people into my life that when their season was up, it was just like, okay, from the movie The Wiz, when Diana had the people going through her mind at the end,
Hmm.
it kind of, and that's the part, and one part like that is what I'm using in my book. And I saw that in my mind, it was like I saw the people in gray and it wasn't saying that. And it was like I just was seeing them going gray, like God was showing me this is your past. And I saw my family in color. God was saying this is your
Come
present, but the
on,
people
Randy.
behind you is your past.
Ooh, that's a word. I love
And
that.
it was like a time I had a dream one night that I saw everything and everybody else fade away, but it was just me and Christ.
Mm.
I didn't see him like face to like I didn't see him face to face, but everything was just blown away. Everything was
Yeah.
just, you know, away. And
Right.
Christ was showing me that I'm all you need. Like I'm right here.
Yes, yes,
I'm
yes,
right
yes.
here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Randy. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh,
That was
sure.
different. That was, whoo, that hit home right there. Christ is there even when everything else is gone. Like that right there is, if we ain't get nothing from tonight, Christ is there and everything else is gone because he is all we need. Thank you so much for sharing
Oh, you're
that and for
welcome.
saying those words. Um, so you had the book coming with you and your with you and your little brother.
Mm-hmm.
You're a CSP for now 8 years. Yeah, CSP for now 8 years. You've dealt with having suicidal thoughts and even enduring your friend taking his own life. What do you say, like, if you were to meet my son who's now 20 years old and
Hmm.
he's going through the things he's going through, what would you say to him to encourage him?
I would say trust God. I
All
would
right.
say look at what God is doing for you. I would say look where God is taking you. Look where God has for you. Look what God is doing for you, and look what God is showing you. And you have to. And a lot of times, we as people, we have to look back at in our folders to see. Uh, we have to see that it's time to let some things and some people go.
Right.
And uh,
Amen.
we had to let go of some things and some people. And God sometimes has to say, "You got to let this person go. You got to let that person go."
So when you have to let people go and God is telling you this, you know, how do you get to that point where you accept it?
Um, it was like it was hard.
Hmm.
It was hard to let go of people because I didn't want to feel alone. I didn't want to feel like I'm forgotten about, and
Yeah.
it was like people come and go, and people leave your life. But at the
Right.
same time, I have to understand that it's time to move on.
Right.
But I keep on the good memories. I keep on the good memories.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, you're amazing, man. Like I'm in awe of you. I'm in awe of you. And I just want to say to you to just stay encouraged and, continue to allow God to speak to you and through you because you don't know what it's doing for others. Um, I want to say to your mother and your father and your siblings as well, because I'm also somebody's sister, and my husband is very close with his sister, and it's a different kind of love. So when you said, when my sister, moved away and everything, I felt some type of way, I felt alone. I understand that, and so many others do as well. And
Hmm.
like you said, we have to accept sometimes people come into our life for a reason and a season. Your sister planted so much strength in you and so much love in you. You still continue to
Hmm.
carry that on. And that's why you have your little brothers and you have friends who will become younger brothers that you can give that same love to. So everything God does is intentional. So continue to share your story, with whomever. You encounter. It's powerful. We know it's God, and you've encouraged me, and thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for
No,
coming on
you're
this
welcome. Thank you
platform,
for having me.
because this thing is bigger than us. This thing is bigger than us. This is about God
Yes.
and glorifying God. So thank you so much for being transparent. And to your mom and your dad, thank you for loving your son to the point where he's able to show love to others, even just through him overcoming certain things. Even the people who may have tried to bully him or tried to make him feel less than who he is today has probably changed them and changed their heart. So thank you for being a praying mother and a praying father. Um, Thank you for being an example, because him and I spoke about marriage, and Randy, if you want to touch into that, what we had a conversation about before we came on live about marriage, you can do that. If you're not comfortable,
Well,
you don't have to, but it's
I
up to
get
you, bro.
right now, before I get married to the right woman, I'm allowing God to work on me.
All right, that's a word. That's a
But
word right there.
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Um,
Yes.
is there anything else? Are there any other programs that you would like for people to know about? Because that's one of the biggest
Well,
things I'm
Project
trying to
Search is
do.
one of the best programs to help out. They're nationwide. So I would
Okay.
say try them.
Project
But
Search.
it's more so for
Um,
adults.
okay, for adults. Okay. Any other programs, that you can
Well,
remember when you were younger?
I would say Kennedy Krieger.
Kennedy Krieger, and this is
Yeah.
only in Maryland.
Well, Kennedy Krieger's everywhere.
Okay, Kennedy Krieger is nationwide as well.
I
Okay.
think
All
so,
right.
but I would say look that up.
Okay, look that up. Okay. So we got Kennedy Krieger, we have Project Search. We for those of you who want to learn more about different programs, like he said, do your research, for your children. And, one thing he said that stuck out to me as well is his mother knew when she held him in her arms, about her child. So if you're that parent that is battling with trying to find out, something's going on with your child, please, sir, please, ma'am, do not do your child an injustice by not getting them evaluated. My son was evaluated young in age, so we were able to catch certain things and to do the work so he can be a productive adult. Excuse me. So, allow God to speak to your heart, allow God to speak to your spirit, concerning, your child, or even, maybe there's a special needs child, in your vicinity that you see often, or maybe you see there's a
Right.
parent who may be in denial. Pray for that parent, come
Yes.
to them with love, because it's a lot when when you're trying to understand your child who's going through something that other parents don't know about. So your approach can make or break someone's spirit. So please come to, a parent with the spirit of love, sharing with them that, maybe it's time to get your child evaluated, because they're not at a certain level that they should be, like other kids. There's nothing wrong with checking. There's nothing wrong with seeing if they're okay or not, because there's so many programs out there now. There's so many tests and things now they did not have back in the day when, Randy was younger, when my son was
Especially in
younger.
the 90s. Not
Yeah, so
in the
there's
90s, they didn't have none of that. I
right,
mean, they
right.
might.
So
I went to some places, but the things that they got now, they didn't have that back then.
right, right, right. Yeah, so, please, sir, please, ma'am, this is about, your child's upbringing. This is about them being an adult one day, that you want them to be self-functioning, you want them to be okay in this world. This world still is this world. So you want them to have the tools to be okay, to make it when God forbid you go into the dirt. We're all gonna go one day, and we want our children to be okay. So Randy, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my
Yes.
heart
Thank you.
for accepting my invitation on this platform. Ladies and gentlemen, please follow also Autism Speak. There are a bunch of groups on social media where you can show your support, for the autism community. Um,
They,
also,
they still people still saying they can't hear you.
they can't hear me. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. It must be probably going in and out. Hopefully, when they go
Well,
on a YouTube channel, everything will
well,
be clear.
listen, y'all. Y'all can go if y'all want to see the video again. Y'all can go on her YouTube page, Hot Mic with Lady Shay, and y'all can
Yes.
hear it from there.
Absolutely. Randy has a link on his page.
Yes, I have a
I
link on
also
my
have,
page. I have a link
yeah,
on my page that y'all can go check out.
absolutely. And you can also follow me on Instagram, Hot Mic Lady She _ podcast. If you would like to check out any other episodes, if you want to send anyone over that you think would be a good fit for this particular platform, we are here to encourage, empower, and to
Yes.
educate. So, send them over. Send them over. We want to bless the masses. We want to have people come on just like Randy, who are not afraid to tell you that they love God, who's not afraid to announce that they are an overcomer, who's not afraid to tell you that they are living as a man or woman of God, who's not afraid to tell you that they went through some things but God. So, to all of you who have come on, thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. Make sure you continue to pray for Randy, because we know there's more to come for this man. He's amazing. Thank you for all the staff at his job, the hospital. Thank you for every person who's encountered him and poured into his life for him to become the young man that he is today. Thank you so much,
Thank
Randy.
you. All right. Bye
God
bye.
bless you. Good
God bless
night.
you too. Good night.
Good night.